If you're an ambitious professional who has a distinct goal for their career, there's only two things that you need to focus on. There's only two things that can ever get you to that place you want to get to. What are they? Number one is getting promoted. And number two is moving to the type of company that will actually allow you to do what you want to do and maybe provide a promotion along the way. Those are the only two things that you can ever do to get to that place that you want to get to. Now, let me ask you this. How often have you worked on your career versus in your career? Now, this is a question I ask our clients all the time. Because what most people do is they spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week working in their career, doing the actual job that they get paid for. Obviously, you need to do that. But how much time do you spend working on your career? That is, planning out what you're going to do next, figuring out the steps that are going to get you to that end position that you want to get to, right? Let's say you want to be the CEO of a 1,000-person company in a specific industry. Well, how are you going to get there? If you just say that that's your goal and really that's just a pipe dream, right? As Yogi Berra famously said, if you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. And that's the thing, you need a map, a pathway for actually getting to that end position. So how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you figure out whether the right thing is to focus on getting a promotion and what do you do to do that? Or focus on getting a new role? Now, here at the Ambitious Exec, obviously, we focus on helping people get to the next level in their career. Right? We focus on one side of that equation, which is actually getting that new job and new company. And the reason we do that is because typically that is the best thing for people to do. That's the best place to start. Because when you get hired into a new role, it's often more easy to get or easier to get a promotion, right? To move up to that next level. As you make that move, it's often easier to get a pretty significant pay rise as well, right? But the promotion channel is also one that you should think about. So how do you do this? How do you decide? How do you plan about where you want to get to? Well, what you do is you begin with the end in mind. You think hard about what it is you really want to do in your career. Why do you want to do the things that you think you want to do, right? That word why, it's so important to think about why you're even aiming for this. Money really shouldn't come into it. Because when it comes to having success in your executive career, right, the money follows your success, right? So if you can provide more value, the most value in your role, the money will follow you, right? Focusing on only your earnings is actually a terrible way to do it. So you want to focus on what is the thing that I'm most passionate about? What is the thing that I can add the most value in the world? And then you're going to be fulfilled and you're going to get the earning potential that you desire as well. So start with that end in mind. Really visualize what that place looks like. What type of company do you want to work at? How big is it? What type of industry is it in? How many people are employed there? What is your relationship as a leader with other leaders and other employees within the business? What position are you at? Maybe you want to work, maybe you want to get to the VP level at a Fortune 500 company, which is a very, very senior position. Or maybe you want to be a C-suite executive at a smaller company, right? Or maybe you want to go for the big end goal of being a C-suite exec at, a Fortune 500 company or similar. You need to decide where you want to get to and why you want to get there, what that role looks like. Is it working at a PE-backed company? Is it working at a public company? Is it working at a middle market company? There's so many different options, but you need to decide what is it that gets you out of bed in the morning. And then write that down. The more detail you write down, the more clarity you have, the more likely it is you're going to get there. Right? The more likely it is that you're going to achieve this goal if you actually have that map. Now, what do you do next? Well, this is where something really interesting that I teach our clients comes in. We call it your ladder goals, right? So you start with the end in mind, which is the top of the ladder, right? You're climbing the corporate ladder, the career ladder, right? That's the top of the ladder. You right now are at the bottom of the ladder for all intents and purposes. Obviously, you've climbed already, right? But you're at the bottom for what we're talking about. Now, what are the moves that you need to make to get to the place that you want to get to? Does it mean moving to a different company? Does it mean getting a promotion at the company you're at or the next company? So, what that might look like is, okay, I'm here. I'm a senior manager or a director at a Fortune 500 company, and I'm in this industry and I do this as my day to day role. What I would actually like to do eventually is I want to work as a COO in a middle market company in this specific type of industry in this location. Well, how do you do that? That is where those ladder goals come in. Each one of the rungs of those ladders, well, first thing I'm going to do is I need to get some experience in the middle market. So, as a director at a Fortune 500 company, that getting a VP role at a middle market company, maybe in the industry that you're interested in, that's going to be the move for you. And then maybe you need to move location. So maybe that's the next goal. So I need to first get this, then I need to move location. Then, once I'm at the type of company that I want to work at, and I know that there is that upward trajectory, then that's when I can move into that role that I really want to get. That's what the most successful executives do. They plan their career. They work on their career, not just in their career, right? Because at the end of the day, that is what executives do for the companies they work for, right? You are not, as an executive, doing the day-to-day work of the company, right? You really shouldn't be, right? You're not there fulfilling orders. You're not working on the production line. You're not going out delivering things. You're working on strategy. You're working on what's going to happen. You're working on the business, not in the business. So you need to do that for your career too. And that is how you're going to get success. Working and figuring out what does that trajectory look like. And then that becomes your plan. Because so many people come to me, so many of our clients, and they say, yeah, I could do anything, right? I could work anywhere. I've got this type of skill and I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Who's going to hire you with that kind of attitude? Nobody. What's going to happen is you're just going to get lost and you're never going to get to that end point, right? You're never going to get to that place that you want to get to. So if you want to get to that amazing end point, that goal that you've been thinking about for your whole life or however long it's been, you need to have that plan. You need to have that ladder in place so you can climb that ladder, and you need to know what those steps are. You need to know what that next step is so that then you can keep going. And really, it's just following the plan then. That's how you get the results that you want in the job search. So remember, there's only two things that you can do in your career to get to where you want to get to. Either move to a new company, get a new role, potentially get promoted, potentially get a big pay raise, or get promoted and move up the ladder that way. Those are the only two ways. So decide which one you're going to focus on. Make sure that your ladder is complete and you visualize where you want to get to, and you're going to have so much more success than almost everybody else who's just implementing the scattergun approach and just doing whatever they feel like. Oh, that role looks good. I'll just apply for that job online just because it looks interesting. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to get success. Plan, and you will get to the place that you want to get to, and you will have so much of a better career, more fulfillment, more earning potential than anyone you can think of.